It's a podcast. It's a podcast stream. It's a live stream podcast approximately 1 week after the last one.
Roughly. Listen, we're gonna hit the rhythm. We probably would have did it a couple of days earlier, but I had a dinner engagement. Not to be missed. Very important. Normal adult shit that adults do sometimes.
Yeah, people typically they don't like it if you miss your dinner engagements.
Yeah, they get cross. They stop inviting you to them, mostly, is what happens, which is its own sort of punishment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we, I assume, in the last week played some video games. I have played some fucking video games in the last week, let me tell you what. Christ.
And they looked great through your Gunner TM glasses.
Yeah, my Spideys.
Yeah.
my sleek and sexy Spideys. Yeah, they looked real good.
Okay, glad to hear it. This is Press X the podcast, by the way. We're a podcast about video games. Other topics as well. Sometimes, maybe we might get into it. Read the title of this episode when it comes out, and you'll know what we're actually all about.
I accidentally uttered a 3-word killing phrase, and it was so infectious that we had to stick it in, official like.
To be perfectly clear, immediately after we've just talked about this, we are not for this.
No.
Yeah.
No one is for this.
No one should do this thing. No one should don't try it at home. Don't try it in a controlled setting. Don't try it anywhere. Don't try it.
Watch, someone's going to clip this and they're going to blank out every time you said don't.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like, try this at home. Try it. Do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But also please don't. Yeah, okay. So, should we talk about what we played if we played things before we talked about what we watched if we watched stuff?
Yeah, I think the playing is primary.
Yep. Okay.
When it comes to video games. So let's talk about the playing. James, you've been playing.
Yeah. I put some hours into Persona 3 Reload.
Okay.
Which it was a fun review because I beat the original for PS2 and I still felt like I was missing so much shit. Mostly because there's people out there who've also played the portable version, and they've got all sorts of opinions, and people who remembered tiny single lines that were cut or changed that everybody's pretty happy about. And I'm like, I don't remember any of this shit. It was just like, hey, they changed all these little things. I was reading about this afterwards because, the review goes live and I'm like, I liked it for these reasons. And then these fucking investigators, these fucking detectives come out and be like, these are the things that changed. And I'm like, fuck, I thought I covered those things. Anyways, to get down to the brass tacks, it looks way fucking better than the original. It's crazy how much better it looks. They changed some things about the combat, which will be extremely familiar to anybody who played Persona 5, but in 3 originally, you only controlled the main character, and then everybody else you just sort of like, hey, attack all out or heal or third thing. And you just give them like vague commands, but now you can
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Spin in a fucking circle or something.
Yeah, command.
So now you can control everybody manually, and they introduced something called like the shift system, which is amazing. Basically, in Persona games, if you hit somebody with a critical or you exploit their weakness, you get another turn. But sometimes that's not useful to you because the other asshole who's still standing up is not weak to anything you've got, so you can just like shift that turn that you just earned to somebody else in your fucking party. Because like, if you knock everybody down, you can do an all-out attack. It's a whole thing. Anyways, it completely changed the dynamic of boss fights and like difficult battles. I think I've got like in the time, because I didn't finish it. Shut up, nobody did. Listen, you did not. If you said you finished this in the review period, you fucking liar. These games are enormous. Yeah. So I put in like a respectable 35 to 40 hours. And oh my god, I just forgot what I was gonna say. You know what? It's fine. Yeah.
Right. Well, what are you scoring this
yeah.
thing on the Press X to Podcast official scale?
Oh, the Press X to Podcast scale. It's above a 7. Yeah.
Ooh, better than a 7. All right. I like
Better
it.
than a 7. Yeah. Because the music is still incredible. Like, they have some original tracks and some new ones, and they're both like, still feels like the fucking future. This shit from 2006, it sounds like the future in music, you know.
From what I've seen from Persona, the music is arguably the selling point to the games.
Mm-hmm.
Persona 5, that soundtrack is
Yeah,
wicked.
Yeah.
Soundtrack and interface in general are way like bigger chunks of the pie in Persona than any other title out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. They improve the social link systems so that you can actually spend time with your other party members and just like you get like different there's no like major arcana that you improve, but you can like get other bonuses and learn more about them and shit. And like you don't necessarily have to be dating people if you're not, like you're exploring the relationships in different ways and stuff like that, and that's interesting, and it's actually interesting and cool. And yeah, some little things like that were improved. It's got extra side content, but you can't play as the female protagonist like you could in Portable. And apparently, I don't know, apparently there was like an alternate ending section that they introduced in FES or Portable. I don't remember which, but like apparently it wasn't supposed to be in the game, but like data miners are like, oh, it might be, and so I don't know, who fucking knows. But anyways, it looks and feels and plays amazing, and it's like the only Persona game I've ever actually beaten back in the day, because the design, the conceit of it, I found so appealing, where you just have this one massive dungeon that you're exploring deeper and deeper into as like time progresses, and like the whole like shooting yourself in the head to activate your powers thing, it just tickled me even as a younger man. And yeah, this is the one. This is my personal favorite, so I of course feel better about it. But as far as like remakes go, it's pretty fucking good,
Yeah, it looks great.
Better than 7.
Although I did
Yeah.
have to scroll through this gameplay walkthrough video like hours to find something that was not the person running through the school.
Did you find the gameplay walkthrough that is the entire game, the 39-hour one? Because I did.
This one's 6,
Yeah.
but it's
I
part
found one.
So
I found one that's 39 hours. I didn't even know you could upload videos that size to YouTube. I feel like they cheated somehow. Anyways, yeah, Persona 3 Reload. It's pretty fucking good.
sick. Better than a
Yeah.
7. The
Yeah,
first better than
seven.
a 7 of 2024.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, have still been playing Cyberpunk.
Okay. Yeah.
Still, Rhett, you weren't kidding. You got to play a lot of Cyberpunk to get to Phantom Liberty.
A lot. Yeah.
Like, you've got to be a god in every other region of Night City before they even drip Phantom Liberty in front of your face.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But
I gotta buy that
it is
expansion.
shocking how much better that game is now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am stunned and flabbergasted that it's this different on a second playthrough. Like, I'm tempted to re-review it. I don't know if we can do that.
You could probably, yeah. I mean,
I could write
you
it.
could, yeah,
sure.
you could write it as a feature. It might not be score, but you'll be like, here, Cyberpunk 3 years later. Holy fuck, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like they reorganized all the perk stuff because it was terrible in the launch game. Now it makes sense. Perks are fun. You want to go after them. You want to level up. That was one of my critiques early on, is there's no point in getting any of the skills ever.
Okay.
Because they don't make sense.
I don't know if either of you guys have tried this yet. I haven't, but I saw a video and I feel like I have to bring it up.
Sure.
I saw a clip of somebody using the Sandevistan, the time slowy speedy one, inside of their vehicle. So they were driving, they like hit the slow button, they hop out of the fucking car, pop a couple of dudes. Before the meter expires, they're back in their vehicle and driving away. And I'm like, what the fuck, man?
It's so sick. Like the combat mobility is really, really good. You can
Oh my
string things
God.
together so smoothly, and you don't. I mean, you get all the powers, and it gets even better. But even from a bone stock, just going out and taking down a random heist that's going on, it's so much better than the incidental content in a lot of other open world games. Really, really good. Super looking forward to getting that Phantom Liberty unlock.
Yeah.
Definitely
gotta
better
buy
than
that
a
shit.
7.
Yeah, definitely.
Brett, what have you been up to there, bud?
I haven't been playing anything new. I'm still waiting on Suicide Squad.
Still waiting.
Still
Seriously?
waiting.
Doesn't it come
Yeah.
out tomorrow?
Yeah. I think so. I think it's
Hey, let's talk about that for a second, though.
yeah.
Let's talk about that for a fucking second.
Yeah.
You guys saw the news about Suicide Squad, where like people paid like $100. Basically, they paid extra on top of the base game price to get early access to the game, and there was a bug that like finished the game for you.
Yeah,
when you started.
people would load into it and they would have 100% completion.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Like, how the fuck does that get past?
Yeah, how do you
QA?
miss that one?
Yeah. So yeah, they had to fucking pull it, and all the people that paid early to play it couldn't play it. And yeah, fun stuff.
Although I feel like those people have gotten back access to it, and they were compensated with like $20 worth of their shitty in-game currency.
Ugh.
It was just like, here, if you want to spend it on some fucking upgrades or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very curious as to about what kind of a fuckfest this game turns out to be when the reviews drop, but I bet it's gonna hit like a fucking brick.
As I've gotten older, I've started to avoid coverage on games that I'm interested in. I just like to avoid as much as possible. Like, I won't even look at screenshots really anymore. I just want to get the game and play it and decide for myself.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
didn't realize the game was like a third-person shooter. Fuck me. I thought it was gonna play like the Arkham games, with that sort of combat system. But just
Whoa, no,
dude,
no.
what the fuck?
You've been sold a bill of goods, bud.
Yeah, like, yo, this is not good. This is not good. I'm not. I'm not gonna judge the game before I play it, and I'm still excited to check it out, but just gonna say that my anticipation has greatly waned. I'm almost certain it's not gonna be great.
People online, there's been some like hardcore evangelist fanboys who were like really upset at how the superheroes in this story are treated.
Mhm.
Now, I need you to understand that the subtitle for this game is "Kill the Justice League." Okay, so that means that your faves, right? Your caped crusaders and your cowlers and your big beautiful boys and girls are probably not going to come out of this all right.
Mhm.
And I feel like maybe some of these people somehow missed this crucial bit of intel.
Well, even without Kill the Justice League, it's like, why the fuck was the Suicide Squad put together?
Yeah, to do
know what I mean?
bad shit.
Yeah, like
I
don't know what y'all were expecting with this.
Yeah, they're gonna be cool.
They're
Cool
not
batch
the
dudes.
Avengers.
Yeah,
No,
they're not the Avengers.
Jesus.
Which I've seen a lot of people already be like, "Oh my god, Avengers is way better than this."
Oh no.
yeah. So
Oh,
That's devastating.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a butterfly knife to the sternum, man. That's no good.
I will say though that some of the like stills of this game that I've seen, it looks great. Like the character rendering and stuff looks really, really good.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Rocksteady, like even dude, you go
Yeah.
back and look at Arkham Asylum. That game
Yeah, it
still
still
today
looks good.
looks great. Right. Yeah. So
There was all that chatter and us in as well when Gotham Knights came out, comparing Arkham Knight to Gotham Knights. It came out like 8 years apart, and Arkham Knight
Arkham
looked
Knight just smoked it.
better in every way.
Smoked it. Yeah.
Like not acceptable.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So,
can't wait to hear
waiting
your
on
thoughts
that.
on this.
I thought it was funny as well that so we were talking about how IGN posted the article about how we played Suicide Squad and it's not great. And so
Yeah.
then they had to post a follow-up article explaining why they didn't receive a code for the game ahead of time. And I'm like, interesting.
I feel
Interesting,
like-
Rocksteady.
I feel like you pretty much explained that. I don't think I don't think fucking anybody got a code ahead of time.
Nobody got the codes. But apparently, like IGN, I guess they were at least expecting to get a code to play through the like the early access period.
Yeah.
But even that they didn't receive. They were told, no, you're not getting shit. So they were like, yeah, we have to buy our own copy of the game. And so
Yeah, they're pulling a Bethesda.
that's pulling a Bethesda, yeah.
They're trying to get the Starfield treatment.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's going to give this baby a 9 it doesn't deserve.
9 it doesn't deserve. So again, I'm waiting to pass judgment.
Yes.
But we've had our first better than a 7. I'm guessing that we're probably gonna have our first lower than a 7 with this one. Dude, third person shooter, that as soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh God, why? What are y'all doing over there?
Yeah.
This smacks of corporate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Right?
sub 7 for
Well, they
sure,
know how to
guys.
make a game.
Yeah,
We
it's
need
like
to get in
corporate
on that
was like-
games as a service.
Yeah, like let's make a fucking superhero Fortnite. That'll sell, you know?
Probably sounded like a great idea 7 years ago.
Actual superhero Fortnite would fucking sell. That's the
Yeah.
funny thing.
Yeah. Like I hear third person shooter and I'm like, this game is gonna feel and look and play like Fortnite. You know?
But I hate to say it, they fucking wish. They fucking wish.
Yeah.
Fortnite does actually play really well at this point.
Plays
Yeah.
really well, and man, I was shocked to see with like the ray tracing updates that they've added, and like there's new visual effects. The game actually looks great. It's like surprising how far it's come.
All that money's got to go somewhere, man.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
jury's still out on Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
But deliberations probably aren't going to take too long to come to that unanimous decision.
Dude, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It's never once been a good sign when a company has withheld review codes until launch day.
Yeah.
Not once has that ever been good.
No.
Yeah.
Thanks, Warner Brothers. We hate it.
Yeah.
That might be a podcast title. Thanks, Warner Bros. We hate it.
Yeah. That's another good one. Gotta start just a running list.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a couple more things I've been playing. I'll just real quick.
Please. Yeah, let's go.
Real quick. I can't put it on the Press X to podcast scale or any other ones, but I do have a copy of Mario versus Donkey Kong.
Oh,
so I can give some preliminaries. Well, I no, maybe I'll just tell you guys a little bit about the game because I actually didn't remember any of this shit.
Give us some like non-definitive, definitely not a review thoughts.
Sure. Basically, it's a it's a new version of a Game Boy Advance puzzle platformer, sort of like a spiritual successor to Donkey Kong for the Game Boy back in '94, and then the actual Donkey Kong arcade games way back in the day, where you basically just have to like go through these stages and solve puzzles to chase down Donkey Kong and deal with his nefarious bullshit. He hasn't done anything crazy, he's just kind of stolen some Mario toys, but like,
he's like King Kong.
he's kind of a dick move, so you want to get him back for it.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting change because you're used to playing Mario as like just a really elastic, powerful, fucking fast moving, high jumping, movement machine. But puzzle game Mario is very restrained because it's like all part of the mechanics. Like you have a very specific particular jump arc, you have a very specific particular like movement speed. You can't run to speak of. And so you're it's somewhat about action, but it's mostly about puzzle solving, which is an interesting change of pace. So that's the one thing I'm unofficially fucking with. The other thing I've been doing really heavy for the last week or so, I got codes like a year and a half ago, for the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters for the Switch. I got a bundle of all 6. I did a brief review just to say like how they fared, how the ports were, how they looked, what they did as Pixel remasters that was like an improvement or worthy of note over the original games. Now I've just been one by one playing through all 6 of them.
And how far have you got?
I finished the first 2 and I started on the 3rd. Final Fantasy 2 is such a weird fucking game. I don't think there's been one like it since. But at the same time, it stylistically informed a great, like, every game that came after it. Because, like, the first game is just like, it's 4 assholes come together to save the world. Crystals, they're good. We need them. So let's do something about it, right? And it's just like really stock standard boilerplate fantasy story bullshit. Final Fantasy 2 is the first instance of like a crazy Final Fantasy style story where like there's an empire and they're fucking up the countryside and they're blowing up cities, and like you meet all these like side characters that die at some point during your quest, and so you leave this trail of bodies, good and bad, behind you, and you like follow the emperor down to his castle in hell to like defeat him for the final time. It's crazy. Okay, it's crazy. Plus, you don't have a traditional level system. You just like, the more you use physical attacks or magic attacks, or the more you get hit and the more damage you take, the more MP you use, those stats improve. So like you use physical attacks and your strength goes up, you use magic and that magic levels up. Shit like that. And like it's fascinating. It's cool. I really feel like people who are fans of the classic games have to fucking, if they haven't, and I bet a bunch of people haven't, they should definitely check out number 2. I bounced off it a couple of times before this one, which the big thing that makes these older games way more playable is the fact that you can just turn encounters off. So
Nice.
So yeah.
So there's no combat?
If you don't want there to be, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you can just like, you get to a dungeon and you're like, I want to get every single treasure chest. You turn encounters off, you run around, you grab all of them. And then you're like, if you fight the boss and you're like, oops, fuck, I'm a little underleveled, you can just turn encounters on, run through a bunch of battles, get your levels up, and then go beat the boss.
You can turn on like multipliers for gold and XP as well, right?
No, not in these classic ones. Not that I've seen so far. You can, yeah. Oh, there's some re-releases that you're able to do that, like 7, 8, and 9. I think when they release those, like the modern versions, and they release those for modern consoles, then they did have those modifiers in. For these ones, you don't. And honestly, it's fine because like for a lot of them, you don't need to level grind. You don't need to be particularly powerful. There was like a sword I picked up at some point in the second game, and I was like looking up guides because a lot of the steps are sort of esoteric, and they're like, hey, if you have this sword, you can do hilarious amounts of damage to the boss every turn. I was like, oh, well then I'm just gonna skip right ahead and fight that fucker.
Yeah, I haven't touched any of the Pixel remasters except for 6.
Yep, I'm gonna work my way through all of them. 6 is gonna be last. I'm gonna do them in order. this is also my chance to finally beat 4, which I've never done, and 5. 4 and 5 I've never finished. So this is going to be a big, cool, in between COG projects kind of thing. That's COG Connected for those of you who weren't aware. The place where all of our reviews go when we do them.
The reviews with questionable scoring scales.
Yeah, not the refined one that we've developed.
Yeah.
Sub 7 better than 7. Not our.
But don't leave out the important one, because we did decide that Hundo is
Hundo,
also an option.
point number 4.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a 4-point scale. It's nuanced. It's complete. It's flexible. This 100-point shit is, I don't know. What do you need that for? Nothing, really.
Well, honestly, when you're scoring something on a 100-point scale, you decide if it's like a 0 to 10 scale, and then you stick your finger in the wind of like, is this an 81 or is this an 83? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Our revolutionary 4-point scale, you know what our feelings are.
Yeah.
You know exactly where we're at.
Don't play. Play if you like this kind of thing. Play. Definitely play.
Yeah.
Tells you all you need to know.
Yeah. All that other shit is just, it's just something for fanboys to argue about in the gallery, right? Like, who cares?
Oh, and they will.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
And
I still can't believe you haven't
Hundo-
got a Suicide Squad code yet.
Oh, dude.
That's shocking.
Fuck me. And then, of course, I'm going to be expected to turn the review in within 48 hours, I'm sure.
No. Hey, Rhett, no.
Apparently the story's only like 6 hours long or something.
Oh, really? One
Apparently
sitting.
it's pretty short.
Yeah.
My rule is if a company's like, we're going to give you the code on release day or like right before, if I don't have time to do it, like, fine, you will have your review in 7 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you wanted it faster, you could have given it to me earlier.
Yeah. Which obviously they don't. They didn't want
Yeah,
reviews
they don't.
out
They
before
don't want
launched.
it faster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Anybody playing anything else? Should we talk about State of Play?
Yeah, let's talk about State of Play.
I was gonna say, speaking of hundos, you know what looks like it's gonna be
Dude.
an early contender. Is that Death Stranding too?
It looks pretty good. Like
It looks pretty
visually,
fucking good.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I, as somebody who never successfully got through the first game, this is definitely one of those situations where I'm like, I'm really happy for you guys. This looks, this looks great.
Yeah.
I've, good for fucking you. I do appreciate the queer coded villain with the electric guitar that shoots lightning. That rips. Like,
yo, that is Kojima to the max.
Yeah.
yeah, and the Sony standard of a weird little guy you clip onto your belt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's so many weird things. This is like a 10-minute trailer, and there's like a laundry list of things that I'm like, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Like,
the hands that are around the neck that she uses to like hold her cigarette. Like, what the fuck?
yeah, she uses them as a mask at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm so in, and interestingly,
Dale,
like
man.
very divisive game when it came out. It's kind of having a renaissance now.
It really is.
People who hated it at first are actually playing it as it's been intended and going, yo, guys, there's actually something here.
Yeah.
And everybody who liked it is like, I know.
You know what it kind of reminds me of Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yes, absolutely.
When that game first came out, people were like, I don't know about this one. Raiden, etc., etc. But now they go back and they re-examine it, and people say MGS2 is arguably the best one ever made.
Yeah,
and like you said, Death Stranding, complete renaissance. Like, it's like if you're listening to this and you haven't played that game, it's stunningly beautiful.
Yeah.
Like stunningly beautiful.
Maybe after I do my Pixel Remaster marathon, I'll take a second crack at Death Stranding.
Yeah. I couldn't recommend it enough. It's we were talking about music earlier. I think one of the greatest soundtracks I've ever heard in a game.
Yes.
The music's so important to it, and it's one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in a game.
Yeah, a lot of really moving pieces that hit at the right times, and we've talked about this before, and like the story it's heavy-handed, obviously.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Kojima.
Yeah.
It's one of his stories, so know that going in and jettison any idea you have about what the gameplay should be.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a good time.
Yeah, don't go into it expecting Metal Gear Solid, which he said before the game came out, long before the game came out. Don't expect Metal Gear Solid. It's not a tactical espionage game. Although, the funny thing about that was that there were plenty of moments throughout the game where you did have to be sneaky. You did have to fucking figure out how to maneuver your way through certain areas and not be seen, not be captured.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he almost couldn't help himself. You know? It's just like that sort of gameplay is in his blood. It's in his DNA.
Like it's like the Soulsborne guy in Poison Swamps. You just have to fucking have him.
Yeah. Exactly. And like, man, visually, holy shit. Death Stranding 2, like maybe the best looking game I've ever seen.
It's right up there. It's right up there. There's a
crazy
few
how
shots in this trailer that really stood out to me. Hopefully I've backed this up to the right spot. Yeah, right here where this it's like a river that's flooding and taking out a bridge.
Yeah.
And the physicality of the water looks amazing. And then there's a shot of like a mountain crumbling. This is super impressive stuff. This is very, very next gen, if you want to use a term like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, the moon there.
Oh, just...
Oh, it looks so fucking good. So yeah, I can't wait. Unfortunately, it seems like we've got a bit of a wait ahead of us, but
yeah, 2025. That's not that bad.
It's probably late 2025 though.
So, okay, Death Stranding 2 looked fucking amazing. Pretty jazzed about that. I personally didn't catch this vibe. However, word on the street is that the Silent Hill 2 remake looks like a bit of a problem child. Looks like it's having some trubs. Looks like
I think we're starting to see why we still don't have a release date for the game.
Okay.
I think people are fucking counting their chickens before they hatch, though.
I think people are starting to see some patterns vis-a-vis Bloober Team and their involvement. People are comparing it to like the Resident Evil remasters. There's like I've read some fascinating arguments for both sides, good or bad, for or against this Silent Hill 2 remake in comment sections all across the net. Very, very interested to hear your takes on this, right? Because you're our guy when it comes to these sorts of things.
Yeah, so I watched the trailer and I'll admit that I agree with a lot of people in that I think a lot of the animations leave something to be desired, so to speak.
So they look like ass, is what you're saying.
I don't think that they look terrible, but I don't think that, like, if you're expecting The Last of Us, you're not going to get anything like that, you know? It doesn't look as fluid as something like The Last of Us or a God of War.
I think people were expecting something that felt more Silent Hill, and I feel like we haven't really had a good modern Silent Hill game to the point where like nobody knows what that's supposed to look like, and so they don't.
But so that's one of the positives I got from the trailer, though, was that I felt like they've nailed a lot of the locales. They showed off the hotel. They showed off the mental hospital. They showed off a lot of the enemies, and all that looks great. All of it looks great. It looks like it's going to be like visceral, in your face. It looks like it's going to build tension in the same way that the original did. I think a lot of people are like, some of the comments that I saw over and over again were James's walking animation sucks. or his swing animation with his attack sucks. And I saw that over and over and over again. And I think people are getting caught up on one or two little details, and they're ignoring everything else that actually looked great. Overall,
Okay.
visually, animations aside, the world looked great, character models look great, enemies, they look great. I felt like it captured the feeling of Silent Hill 2. That trailer does, at least. It seems like they're capturing the feeling of Silent Hill 2. It's just that it looks like specifically the hand-to-hand combat doesn't look as nuanced as something like The Last of Us does. And maybe it's because, that game is fucking almost 25 years old, and we've seen a lot of good shit come out since then. A lot of combat systems that feel fucking fluid and responsive and fun. And if something doesn't look exactly like, one of these modern day games, people are like, oh, well, what the fuck?
Well, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, but like my understanding is that horror games, the controls tend to be one of the opponents you must defeat if you wish to survive, because they're trying to like heighten the tension and make you feel like the whole world is against you.
Yeah.
One of the solutions is to give you fucky controls that make you feel like you're in the middle of an actual nightmare.
Yeah.
And so to me, I feel like for a horror game, it's kind of hard to judge that shit so harshly when you haven't actually laid hands on a controller and done a,
The
100%.
Like the balance you have to strike there is that if you're planning to do that and make battling the controls part of the game, it still has to be fun.
Yeah.
The combat still has to be fun, and that's a good balance that the RE remake games have struck.
But
other examples, but like you said, James, you have to remember who's making this thing and what their history is all about. Bloober Team is very good at creating atmosphere and creating tension in an environment.
Yeah.
So that stuff is likely to be very good. Combat, historically, not their forte. So I would not expect that to be like off the wall awesome in this game.
I don't think Resident Evil, though, is a good comparison, because Resident Evil is an action-based game. Especially like if you look at 4, it was always an action-based game, whereas Silent Hill wasn't action first. Like the combat didn't feel great in 2001 on the PS2. It was all about atmosphere. It was all about suspense. It was all about scaring the shit out of you. And that they did very, very well. And I got all of that from the trailer. I think that they're going to nail that shit, I don't think that the combat necessarily needs to be great. As long as the puzzles are on point, the locations are there, the atmosphere, the tension, they're able to build that shit, it's going to do just fine. Like people are forgetting, like this is not Resident Evil. This is not RE2, it's not 3, it's definitely not 4. It never was, James Sutherland is just an average guy. He doesn't have any combat experience. It's not a combat game.
What I mean is, so long as those sections, when you do have to engage with those mechanics, as long as that doesn't tear apart the tension that has been built,
right?
Because it's focused on the horror, then you're good.
Yeah.
But you've got to strike that balance. It still has to be entertaining when you have to engage with that stuff.
Right. But I would even argue that, again, going back to the original, I would argue that the combat wasn't necessarily great. Like, I would argue that they didn't necessarily strike that balance with the original.
Yeah, maybe not.
It felt quite clunky at times, Especially if you would get hit with 2 or 3 enemies at a time in like a tight corridor. At times it did feel a little frustrating to maneuver around, to land your shots. And I'm not saying that they should try to replicate that feeling, but I think people need to keep it in perspective as to what Silent Hill is versus an action horror game like Resident Evil, like The Last of Us.
Be interesting to see how it lands.
Yeah. I'm so fucking stoked for it. Yes, I saw some things in the trailer that I didn't quite like I said. Some of the animations do look dated, but I can't fucking wait for it.
All right.
I was more intrigued by the Silent Hill, the short message.
I have heard feedback from people who've played that.
That's not good. Okay.
Not
To be
great.
fair, it's like one so far. It's like one dude, like one influencer, one content creator on my feed who had played it and was like, his one word review was awful, and somebody was like, "What part of it?" And he was like, "Yes, all of the parts. All of the parts are fucked."
Yeah.
So it's free. It's short, right? It's. I was curious when I saw the trailer. I was like, what led to the creation of this thing? What specifically are they trying to do here? Are they trying to like maintain interest in the brand before this big remake comes out? Or is this just something that they were able to build with the engine they are already cooking up for the Silent Hill 2 remake? Like, is this something a different team developed altogether? Why the fuck is it free?
Feels to me like they were said to themselves, could we make something like PT that would get the Silent Hill name on people's lips until the game comes out?
Yeah.
The real game.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna come right out and say it right now. They didn't do that because I don't know. Just from what I saw of the trailer, I'm like, okay, it'll be fine or fucked, but I mean it's not gonna be a real game changer. But I don't know. Hey, Brent, maybe you get a chance, you can play through a short message and let us know what you think next week, man.
I'm planning on doing it on stream.
Oh, sick. All right.
So yeah, 2-hour experience. We'll probably make just one single stream out of that. And yeah.
Okay, so I'm very curious what you guys thought of Stellar Blade.
Yo, way on board. I got massive near Automata vibes.
Yeah, it looks cool and weird. It's coming in like a couple of months.
Yeah, April.
Like April 26th. Yeah, it's like Korean, I think. I don't know. It's cool. We've been seeing more and more Korean games coming out. Slow trickle, but we've been seeing them, and like, I'm into it. So far, of the ones I've seen, which admittedly it's a small number, it's not a ton, but they do love sick lighting effects and slick visuals and cool weird stories. At least in the Korean RPGs I've seen, I'm like, hell yeah, that's a great trend. If that's what your shit is defined by for a while, that's fine.
Yeah.
The action looks fast. The environments look good.
Yeah, there was like one part of the trailer where she's like leaping on top of a huge monster and like digging a bladed weapon into this fucking thing and just like just like dragging it across to like a sort of like gross finishing move type sequence. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Let's have that.
Yeah, it kind of looked like old school God of War.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
At times, for sure.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
But yeah, time will tell, obviously, if it holds up mechanically, but it looks like they kind of set Nier Automata as their target. Like, this is what we're going for. Even in the way the characters running around in some of the fast combat. Yeah, we'll see if it's any good, for one. And two, does it have a story that's worth its salt?
I think the story will be. Hey, what the hell? It will be fine. I think the story will be fine. Whoa! Ah, holy shit. Okay, stuff we'll talk about off stream. Okay.
Harlequin in the chat here. He says that the big booty waifu game looks great, but not enough gameplay footage. Now this I missed this. What is this?
The heroine in Stellar Blade. There are some shots in the trailer that are
okay.
She's of a nature.
Up,
okay, she's caked up. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice.
Yeah.
Cake sells.
I actually really like the music in this trailer. Thought it had a very unique vibe. So if they could pull it off, this could be definitely better than a 7.
Nice.
Yes, I think it could absolutely be better than a 7.
Nice.
Also, love any game where someone has just absurdly long hair. And it's like full body length in this game, so pretty into that.
Cake sells, but will the gameplay keep us around? I hope so. That's that's from the chat as
hope.
well.
We can hope.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
Ooh, Rise of the Ronin. Sword combat looks cool. I kept thinking of Ghost of Tsushima, but I know because of the fact that it's Team Ninja that it's not gonna be that. But I'm curious as to what I feel like I'm gonna inevitably be comparing one to the other, right? Like just because of like it's very in-depth, detailed sword combat. It's very like it's that same time period. It's got sort of an epic storyline, even though it's like crazy fantasy bullshit compared to that. But like, yeah, Rise of the Ronin. That
it looks pretty fun. Like the vibe I was getting from the sword combat, like I definitely get why you would say Ghost of Tsushima. It's
right?
got with the stances and things like that. But I also got quite a bit of Sekiro looking at it. It looks like it's very parry and counter oriented, and that game was very much a timing based thing. So
Yeah, hopefully the needle is more towards Tsushima than Sekiro.
I pray for a difficulty slider because I would love to love this game. But if it's just brutally difficult from tip to tail, I don't know.
It's Team Ninja, man. Like I full disclosure, series disclaimer here. I have not been able to get my head around the right side of a Team Ninja game, maybe ever.
Yeah.
It's not just that they're hard, it's that they're hard in a specific way, which I can't, like, my specific attention span and skill set can't fuck with. Like, Soulsborne games, tough in a way that I can manage, for sure, right? But, like, Team Ninja games, for some reason, it's just like, no, there's no purchase for me here. There's no footing that I can fucking sit on. I don't know what it is.
Like, I don't want to get good at this.
Yeah, that might be part of it.
I want to see what's next, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, it just feels like, I don't know. It feels difficult in like a frustrating way where it's like when you were like 12 and you had like cousins or friends that were really good at games, like, check this one out. I'm like, no, fuck off. I don't know. It makes me feel like an incompetent child. Team Ninja games. I don't know what it is. But hey, maybe it'll maybe the reviews will come out and hopefully good cool thorough reviewers out there will know how to speak to me specifically somehow and they'll be like, hey James, Haley, heads up, this Team Ninja game will be fun for you in particular.
Yeah, you gotta just filter reviews by the keywords I hate Team Ninja.
Yeah, just
Ninja Gaiden is the worst game ever.
Yeah. I don't feel like I'm gonna get a lot of probably good hits that way. Yeah.
It's a little specific. Yeah. But I'm glad they showed a good chunk of this thing, as it's been definitely on people's minds and talked about a lot of like, oh, is this thing gonna be any good? Looks like yeah, objectively it's probably pretty good.
Yeah. So, okay. Every time they do a state of play, every time, Bloodborne fans light their little candles, get their hopes up, and think, Jesus, what if they make a 60 frame per second modern console version of our favorite game. And every time they're disappointed. But I feel like when they announced a remaster of Until Dawn, it was like an extra twist of the knife because it's like, hey, who specifically the fuck asked for this?
Yeah.
Versus like,
dude, I
like,
love Until Dawn.
Dude, and you know what's funny about that is that I just played it on stream in October, and like, this is one of the last games I would think that ever needed a remaster. It still looks and plays great. Like, it runs at 60 frames.
Yeah, when I say who the fuck asked for this, I mean like, we didn't need this. It looks so good as is. I just, you know, like
completely
buttery smooth and powerful and slick and cool. Like,
still
guys,
controls fine, you know, like I can't imagine what they're adding to, unless they're adding new, but no, they wouldn't be adding new scenes, new endings, nothing like that.
It looks like they've just dialed the textures up like 1,000%.
Yeah. And to be fair, it's like totally different teams. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, we got a remaster announcement, but it's something that definitely didn't need it. You know, that sort of salty bullshit. It's not like this team was going to do Bloodborne, but they did this instead.
Yeah. Cash grab,
you know?
Harlequin in the chat says cash grab, and I can't help but agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's be real. Let's be frank and beans right now. That's all remasters, guys. That's
all they want money.
They want money.
Especially like that Last of Us 2 remaster. Oh, come on.
That should have been called the director's cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That calling it a remaster was them slapping their fans in the face with their dick.
I don't know about that. It was only $10 and it added
true.
The roguelite mode.
Yeah.
That's definitely just somebody who's in like the department of particularity and said, we have part 1 remaster, we need it to be called part 2 remaster because then it's the same.
Yeah. I just feel like director's cut would have like better. Also I was gonna ask because I don't play these games, so I rely upon you guys for guidance through this strange world. I've heard tell that for some people, the idea of the roguelite mode sort of thematically dick slaps the story and the message and the like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm sure, but obviously it's non-canon.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you sort of have to go into it being like, well, no, none of this means anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just like you've had to do the same thing with God of War, I would imagine.
Well, no, because I heard that the God of War expansion felt more thematically aligned with the base game, right? Where it was just like, okay, no, this makes sense and feels good and is fun. Whereas The Last of Us Part 2's roguelite mode was just like, put a cool t-shirt on people and get a whole bunch of weapons and just go fucking crazy.
Well, yeah, because they painted themselves into such a fucking tight corner with that bullshit story that they try to tell in the second game. That a little eye roll. I see that. Yeah,
could not have rolled further.
Such a tight fucking corner. Yeah, of course. If they wanted to add a roguelike mode, I'm surprised that there's even like a narrative to it. I thought it was just going to be pick a character and go fucking kill clickers until you die.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, not to reopen that wound. You guys,
that's a wound that's never closed, I don't think.
No. Suture that shit up, Rhett. You gotta move on. You gotta heal.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I am optimistic about Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm gonna be honest, I actually completely missed the first game, but it sounds like it was great.
The first one was sick.
Yeah, okay, sweet.
Yeah, it was like it wasn't The Witcher, but it was actually close to it. The big thing about it was that you had way more customization options over your character. You know, looks wise, but like skill wise as well. You could you could have so many different kinds of builds in that game.
Brett, that excites me specifically. James,
it was cool.
Loves that idea. I don't know if that's a game you can play right now, but like maybe
the original. Apparently the Switch version's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe I'll check that out. Maybe I'll wait for Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah, I'd probably
Yeah,
just go
at
straight to
this
that.
point.
I doubt
Yeah.
that the stories connect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like it's just I don't know how I just sort of missed that game, but like everything I've heard about it makes it sound like it's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's a low key banger for sure.
Okay.
In this
Yeah.
trailer, there are some cool ass spells and cool dudes doing cool stuff. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, this might be my big March release, Dragon's Dogma 2. Just
High
'cause
confidence.
I love a high customization fantasy game. Like shit.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome. Okay. Uh this next announcement was just for me and like millions of other people, but the remaster of Sonic Generations, which they for some reason named Sonic X Shadow Generations. Now, guys, I don't know if you know this, but when you're writing slash fiction and like porn online, you usually classify the characters as something, for example, like Sonic X Shadow, to say which two characters be fucking at some point.
Right.
So
Right.
it feels like maybe they're battling the SEO. Apparently the SEO for this is just barely edging out the fucking slash fiction.
Or who knows? Maybe it'll come out and it'll be one of those rare gems that gets an AO rating.
See, that would be amazing. I watched the trailer and I thought, okay, cool, sick cutscenes. Can't wait to see what the gameplay is like. But then some other fans online were pointing out, yeah, a lot of that I think was gameplay. Like a lot of individual sections of that trailer was actually gameplay footage, which in that case, great. Like the shadow sections looked sick. And yeah, I actually dipped into Sonic Generations recently just because I was doing some laptop testing, which is apparently a thing I do now. I'm a guy who tests laptops. And I was running that one, and it feels a bit clunky to me compared to like Frontiers or even Colors a little bit. I don't know. Generations feels okay, but like it's got a little clunk to it, so hopefully they kind of either tighten that up or maybe I loosen up and I'm just like, it's fine if it's clunky. I don't know. It just, for some reason, I played Sonic Generations the last time pretty recently. It just felt like, had a little clunk to it. I don't know.
Got a question. Maybe you can shed some light on it, James. Looks good, but don't understand why they have two Sonics though.
Oh, well, as somebody who played Generations, I can tell you. Basically, the idea is that you can switch between them when you're playing stages, because the new Sonic does those more 3D like front-facing stages where you're like you have the homing dash attack where you're running kind of down the screen like this,
the
right?
Sonic Adventure mode.
Yeah, the Sonic Adventure, Sonic Forces, all the new Sonics, and then the little guy with a pot belly who doesn't talk. His stages are all side scrollers. Okay, so you can have a stage that'll come up to like Chemical Plant or whatever, and you can play it two completely different ways, right? So it's like two totally different stages, and presumably with the introduction of Shadow, that's like a whole third thing.
Now, how do these two unique Sonics fit into the fiction?
I was gonna say, is there a narrative purpose to that?
Dimensional portals, rifts. They make up some McGuffin bullshit where it's like they like meet each other a couple of times. It's like, oh my god, it's another Sonic. This is crazy. You know, like a cartoon. They just hand wave it like they're very, very casual about it, and it's fine.
Gotcha.
It's honestly as much world building as I would hope for from a Sonic game. It's good. I will say the one thing I do kind of wish Sonic or Shadow had in this game is a fucking gun.
Yeah, didn't he have like a Desert Eagle in the last Sonic game you were playing?
The PS2 game or Dreamcast or whatever. I don't remember what systems it came out for. I know it was out on PS2. Shadow the Hedgehog. He's got a big fatty 50 cal in his hands and all the promotional material. And he's the most hilarious edgelord ever conceived. It's so good. It's such an amazing bit of like storytelling to make you like your eyes roll so far back in your head that they come loose from your fucking sockets.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what?
no,
Maybe
it's-
Sonic. So what? You're hoping maybe Sonic gets a M4 assault rifle in this game, something like that.
Well, no, but Shadow could, and that would be great.
Or
I would
Shadow,
love
yeah.
that. I would
No.
love that. And he'd be like, I'm ambivalent towards good and evil, but I love my fucking
Yeah, I love my.
M16.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Okay. M1 Garand. Perfect.
Can we talk about Judas?
That's the Ken Levine
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, the Ken Levine thing.
Yeah.
He
The game that's eaten that Xbox Clockwork whatever game's lunch right out from underneath it, because this looks pretty tough to beat. Looks like a
Yeah.
Ken Levine game.
Oh,
Yep.
Ken. He knows what he's doing, eh?
Doesn't
He
miss.
fucking Judas, yes, yeah, no.
It-
Super stoked about this.
yeah,
Obviously,
so
anything from Ken
stylish.
Levine. For those who don't know, the mastermind behind the Bioshock series. Yeah, anything this guy does, sign me up.
Yeah. I don't know if this team has pulled a bunch of people from the BioShock group, if Ken like pulled them over, but like obviously a lot of similar vibes to BioShock, but stylistically very different.
Yeah. Was he behind We Happy Few?
No.
No, that was just a
was just-
very closely cut
Yeah.
homage.
So I think though, even without him being involved in it, I think that there's a reason why he's made sure to make it as stylistically different as he could from BioShock, because I think We Happy Few, he saw the reception to that game when it came out, and people were like, we were expecting BioShock,
And
and
he
we
was
didn't
like,
get it, and this sucks.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I got you.
yeah, right. So he knew what he was doing there, and it looks fucking good, man. Really
Yeah.
does.
I'm highly interested in that. Also coming out
Yeah.
on Xbox, it sounds like. This one.
Mhm.
Not an exclusive.
Yep. Did they give a release date on that one?
I think they said 2024.
Nice. Oh, if we can
Let's-
play that this year, fuck, that's fucking great.
Send
Yeah.
the trailer plan.
But at the same time, like
In development. In
very
development.
stylistically different, but you can still see the roots of BioShock in the gameplay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so
And
I think
there's nothing wrong with that formula.
no, not at all.
Take
I
that
feel
style,
like
put it in a brand new world, lots of interesting lore.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, it's if you were disappointed with We Happy Few and you were expecting another BioShock, it sounds like Judas is going to be what you were looking for. You know,
Yeah.
not saying that it's going to be BioShock,
There-
but I think
there
it's going to
was-
scratch that itch.
There was one shot from the fucking trailer where like your character's like sticking their hands into a machine, but maybe they didn't have those hands a second ago because the hands are being like built as
Yeah.
they're being
Yeah.
stuck in the machine, and I'm like, what wacky ass fucking mechanic is that hinting towards? Like, what's happening there?
Yeah. Yeah. This guy's got an obsession with like hands and special powers coming out of them.
Well,
Weird shit happening to your hands.
it's one of those things that kind of makes it felt like he was like, well, if we're doing first person, we have to do something that the player can see and like connect to. But I'm like, well, no, because they're not doing this in VR, and also please don't do this in VR. But
Mm.
but like it's just like it's like a concession you're making to make up for the fact that you chose first person. Where it's just like if you're a first person guy, that's fine. Lean into that shit. But it's just like I want to show cool things happening to the character, but all I can see is the hands
Yeah.
because this is the camera angle that I'm going with forever, so I have to do it with the hand. It feels sort of like a weird chicken versus egg kind of thing, where it's like, well, why? What led to you deciding to do this? And I guess the point I'm trying to make is that I don't understand, and I don't think it matters. So really, everything I said for the last 30 seconds was a gigantic, colossal waste of time. Thank you for paying so much attention to what I'm
Well, I got you covered with the segue to the next thing, because they did show VR stuff.
They did.
This Metro VR thing looks pretty good.
Well, it's about fucking time. It's about fucking time that they release some stuff that gets people hyped on the PSVR 2 again. You know,
I was gonna say the Legendary Tales trailer, is that the one that has like the dude like smashing the fuck out of the skeleton, like power bombing it through a table and just like eating it to death?
Yeah, that's good shit.
Yeah,
that's exactly what VR is good at.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, this is just understanding what people want to be doing. It's
let me
killing
fuck
a
up
skeleton with a warhammer. Yeah. Doesn't need to be more complicated than that.
Yeah, there's like shut out some VR shit. There's some games that are already out that are coming to PS5, like V Rising, which
I hadn't heard of that, but it looks cool.
Yes, I heard of this game when it came out on PC back in 2022. And it looked cool then. I just couldn't quite pull the trigger on buying it, although I might, because it's just like you play a vampire and you like have to like hunt at night and like build your cool castle lair and like, you know what I mean? Like good shit like that. Like that rules, you know? Like that's fun stuff. Let me live out my vampire power fantasies and then burn to ash in the sun. Right? Like that's great.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, bringing that to PS5.
Yeah, and you need those games in your repertoire, in your library, to break up the heavier stuff. Like you're playing Dragon's Dogma 2, you're gonna want to break from that because it's it's very involved. You drop into V Rising, kill some stuff, do some vampire things, hunt some people, and you feel refreshed because you've just drank the blood of innocence. So
yeah, refreshed from all the blood, the delicious blood. I understand.
Yeah, it's very good. We don't know anything about vampirism, though.
It's true.
Rhett, I got to ask you, how do you feel about Kojima getting back into the action espionage genre?
Oh, well, as the greatest action espionage creator of all time, the man that created the genre, I couldn't be more excited. I don't know how any fan of Metal Gear Solid, how any fan of Kojima could not be excited about this.
Yeah. I particularly liked in this little interview how Herman looks like he can barely contain his excitement about this.
Yeah.
It's like he's barely holding it together. Like,
because let's be real, Death Stranding is cool, and fucking what's the name of the horror game he's doing on Xbox? Donut. Something. Yeah, that looks all good and everything like that. But I think when Kojima left Konami, everybody was like, okay, well, is he either going to try and buy the Metal Gear series? Is he going to try and acquire the rights for that? Or is he just going to make his own thing? And now we got the answer. He's going to make his own thing. And I'm fucking stoked for it. I hope that he's willing to bring back David Hayter in some capacity.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I'm stoked. I can't wait to see more. Yeah. I don't know. Growing up as a Metal Gear Solid fan, as somebody who thinks that the Metal Gear Solid games are the pinnacle of gaming, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see what he cooks up here.
Yeah, it's almost like he's done some side projects, done some other stuff to feed the creative juices, and now it's like, all right, the tech is in a place where I can finally make that fusion that I've been trying to make for 40 years in my career.
Exactly.
This has PS6 launch written all over it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like 2027, 2028, depending on when that comes out.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we saw any more of this game before late 2025. Like I don't think we'll hear about it again until at least late 2025, maybe 2026.
Yeah, after DS2 comes out.
Oh
I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, for sure.
But
yeah.
Sweet. The stuff we didn't talk about is like Foamstars,
which is apparently going to be free next month on PlayStation Plus. So,
in March.
Check it out. Yeah, it's apparently the next one of the free games coming next month.
I'll give it a rip.
Oh, for free? Why not? Maybe we could do a night where we stream it. Get the squad together here and
stream it.
Shoot foam at each other. What? So it's like Splatoon, but it's with soap.
Yeah, it's soapy Splatoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question: do we have
soapy
to foam
splatters.
up in real life?
Do we foam up in real life?
Yeah.
Naturally.
All right.
Obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look into sourcing some like industrial foam.
Good. Get nice and sudsy.
Gonna be a clean stream.
Oh, the cleanest. The cleanest. That reminds me of James and I streaming Power Wash Simulator. Seems like so long ago.
It was a while. We haven't played games together in a hot minute.
Yeah. We should figure that out. But again, maybe Foamstars. Maybe we should do some Foamstars when it comes out. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us.
Yep.
It's going to do it for this podcast 7.2, season 7, episode 2. Thank you very much for listening and or watching. This is Press X to Podcast, and we're Paul, Rhett, and James. Watch Red on stream. Come back next week. Listen to this podcast another time, because we'll be back.
That's right.
You know we'll be chitting and chatting. James will probably have played 4 to 5 more games on his sick laptop.
Yeah, some games will have been played, my friends.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But yes, Power Wash Sim is very, very therapeutic. It's just something about it. Anyway, we'll talk to you next time. Thanks a lot, everybody. Peace out.
Peace out.